Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome at episode 9 of Thrive Talk today. And today we're looking at the vision of Thrive International, and we've got our guest here, our CEO and founder, James Francis.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Billy.
Welcome, James.
Thank you.
James, just to give people a background, why Thrive, and where did you come up with the idea, and sort of where are we heading with this?
All right. So Thrive probably started about back in 2000. I was living in America, and I just finished a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And what it basically did, it pointed out to me with conventional business where people were going wrong. And for those of you, I encourage you to read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I think the author, he's an Asian American, Robert Kiyosaki, illustrates the point that if you don't save 30% of your income over a 40-year period, you're not going to retire. And I remember looking at that and thinking to myself, so that's 30% of your income from when you start working at 20 and you finish working at 60. That's 40 years of your life that you got to work, and you got to put away a third of your income. And I looked at that, and I remember, asking my dad and asking my friends, is that possible? And nobody was doing it. Nobody was putting away 30% of the income. And what Robert Kiyosaki goes on to explain, is that 97% of the world can't retire, and it's not because of their profession. It's not because they've chosen the wrong profession, as a teacher or a doctor or something like that. It's the fact that they haven't followed the formula, and the formula is that you need to save 30% of your income over a 40-year period. And so that started to sort of answer a lot of questions in my mind, starting off as a 20-year-old entering into the workforce, that if I needed to get ahead, I needed to do something differently. And the best advice that he actually gave on top of that was keep your job, keep what you're doing, and build something on the side. And I've always looked at that as an opportunity. So, I've been involved in a number of different industries, but I've always built something, on the side. And the idea there is to create additional income to be able to help with the saving of the 30%. And so where the journey kind of grew from that is obviously been in business for the last 20 years, and I've taken my fair share of making money and losing money.
We all
I think we've all done that. In the last couple of years, it's been quite exciting in terms of losing money. But I think where Thrive started was obviously with the advent of the internet is brought this whole global community into one. That was the first factor. The second factor is the advent of blockchain, which is the banking system behind Bitcoin, has done the same thing as the internet has done by bringing people together, bringing computers together, creating networks that people can actually communicate. And with people from China to America to South Africa, Africa can now start to talk to each other. What blockchain has done, in my opinion, it's done something even bigger. In the sense is that it's given people the ability to open up a bank account. And I think if we look at bank accounts, I don't really know the true stats behind it though, but I think there are many people throughout the world that just can't open up a bank account. And if you can't open up a bank account, it's very difficult to do business. Yeah,
they're actually talking about 30% of the market only being able to open a bank account.
Wow, okay.
And a market of 70% lying there that can't get into the economy.
Well, it's amazing. So, if we just take the economy, the global economy, where 70% of the world can't get a bank account, it doesn't matter how great the internet is. If you can't trade and you can't make money, then you can't sort of interact. So when I saw the advent of blockchain, started to understand the real benefit behind Bitcoin, yes, is the ability to be able to make money, but its ability to get people to open up a bank account. So if I'm sitting in South Africa and I want to do business with a person in, let's say, China or the Congo or Kenya or wherever it may be, if we haven't got a bank account in order to be able to pay for the goods, then we can't trade. And what we found is that governments and banks have restricted the flow of money. And this is where it's become very difficult to actually do money across borders. And what blockchain's done is that it's just eliminated the cross-border restrictions, the same way that the internet has done that for being able to communicate. We don't have to pick up a telephone or a fax machine to communicate. We're sitting in a position where we can now communicate online, and we can now start to send money very easily. I mean, to open up a bank account in blockchain can take about a minute, am I right? You just need a username and a password and you can pretty much get going.
Yeah.
So where Thrive came about is I've been following what Amazon, the company that started selling books online has now grown into this company that sells everything. In fact, I think it's headed, if it's not the biggest, it's one of the biggest retailers in the world. It's overtaken Walmart. Walmart is the biggest retailer in the world, brick and mortar retailer, and Amazon's come along, and I think last year actually beaten them. So online marketing, online business, online shopping and everything has become a massive business. And my trip to India about a year ago really opened up my eyes to what Amazon is doing in the world. I had the privilege of traveling to India and just seeing on a global scale that the smartphone has obviously completely changed the way that people communicate. And a lot of the work that I do comes out of Mumbai, and Mumbai is a very densely populated city, and everybody seems to be on their smartphone. And I just looked at that and I thought, it's amazing. Said to one of my business partners over there that it's amazing how everybody's starting to communicate on their smartphone. And he said, they're not just communicating, they're actually shopping. And that kind of threw me, because online shopping was big in America, big in Europe. It hadn't really come into Africa. But now, if a second world country, for example, like India, is starting to embrace online shopping, and they can do that though because the data fees in India have dropped. I mean, you can get a package for $1 for unlimited data and unlimited Wi-Fi, and that's changed the game.
And you can see it already today, because I was looking at all the different companies that we have in South Africa, for instance, and all of them are coming up with better, cheaper, more data packages.
Yeah.
And it's because they're starting to realize that they have to compete in that market where people need data.
Exactly. So I think, Willie, you're right. So the key to unlocking people to be entrepreneurs, global entrepreneurs, is that they need a bank account. Okay. They need the ability to be able to communicate. So they've now got a bank account in the form of a blockchain. They can open up a bank account. They can use currency like Bitcoin or Ethereum or some sort of currency, some sort of cryptocurrency. The third thing what they need is they need the ability to be able to communicate cheaply. And that's where I was amazed, is that India's embraced this technology where they are able to unlock entrepreneurs to be able to start the ability to be able to trade. And Amazon's come into India and just sort of undercut the whole market though, because it can, and it's really captured the way that people shop. And I look at that, and then part of my other journey, I've been to China many times, and I've just seen how Alibaba's grown. I mean, Alibaba, Jack Ma, who started Alibaba, was instrumental in getting Chinese people online. He didn't do it through blockchain, but he got the ability of the Chinese entrepreneur online to be able to start trading with each other. And if you look at where Alibaba is today, I think it's also like in the top 3 or top 2, I think, biggest retailers in the world. So if we're looking at the biggest businesses in the world, obviously the likes of Facebook and those type of things, but when you look at the likes of Amazon and Alibaba, I believe that they are going to be the biggest companies in the world. And then taking into the sort of fun side of it is, what's happening with drones. Drones looks like the science fiction film where people come down and sort of terrorize you. But what's happening now is, if you look at the technology of drones, I mean, where Amazon's going, they're building these beehive structures in the middle of these cities, where these drones will be coming in on different levels with an elevator delivering the product within the building, and these drones coming in collecting the parcels and delivering them to the people. And when you just look at the technology of what is present, that's actually starting to happen now. And Thrive came about where I looked at that and I thought, well, let's embrace that. Let's look at the opportunity where how can we solve the problem where people can become self-sufficient in the form of doing something different. So we have a referral program, and what I love about it though is that networking gives you the ability to be able to get ahead.
Yes.
And there's obviously a lot of MLM companies out there. What we've done is that we've sort of been involved in a number of them, and I think we've taken the best and the worst out of them. I mean, kind of to a point. But the ability behind it is, I don't think people understand the true benefit of an MLM company. Is the sense is that if you take an average employee working a 40-hour week, that's what they get paid for. Yes. They can work overtime, and they can get paid more or not. But pretty much their income is based upon where they're exchanging time for money.
Yeah.
All right. What networking does is that it breaks that mold, is because if I refer you to become a member, and I'm putting in so over and above my 40-hour job, I'll put in 2 hours extra into a new business, into my new networking business. If I recruit you into the business, I'm putting in my 2 hours and you putting in your 2 hours. So suddenly I have 40 hours in my conventional business, but I've also got 4 hours, my 2 hours and your 2 hours coming into my new business. You refer somebody, which then puts in 2 hours. So what starts to happen is that once you've got 10 people in your kind of organization, you don't have to get all 10 people. But if 10 people are putting in 2 hours a week, suddenly now
20 hours.
That's 20 hours. Those 20 people put in, grows to 20 hours, that grows to 40 hours. And what starts to happen is that it doesn't happen right away where you replace, like that 40 hours will replace this 40 hours in terms of income.
Yeah.
It takes a bit longer, and that's where
Happens
people
over
need
time.
need a bit of foresight. I think with the youngsters today is that we're looking at programs that's instant gratification.
Yeah.
So you do need to think sort of long term.
Yeah.
And if you look at most conventional businesses, take about 3 to 5 years to get off the ground. Network marketing can actually fast track that. And all it basically does is that if you find the right business and the right program, and you can there supplement your income, you've still got the safety of your job.
Yes.
And you've got another additional income, and you can kind of choose to a point when you want to exit your job if you want to. But if you like your job, keep it. But if you wanted to be able to exit to do something that you really wanted to do, like another passion or something like that, at least you have options.
Yeah.
So that's why we've gone to the referral business, and we've created a model which is slightly unique to some of the challenges normally associated with MLM marketing, which that's for another discussion. But the second part of it is to create a community of people from the MLM business, in which you can then, some of the money that you make, you also get a shopping voucher that you could spend on our online shopping program. And the idea is to create a community in which people can create a residual income.
Yeah.
In the form of earning Bitcoin or something like that, and they could also spend their vouchers within our mall, and that kind of creates like a Thrive ecosystem, I think. And I think all we're doing is that we're just embracing technology.
Yeah.
We're embracing the technology of using the internet to be able to social network this business. We're embracing the technology of blockchain. We look at where business is going in terms of, it's going online. We're looking at the business where people are taking their business online, where they could sell product. So it's not just for you to buy product online, but if you're a business owner, you can actually start to sell your products to our community of people. And our community of people is obviously the cryptocurrency people who have Bitcoin. And I think we've been going for about 9 months now. We have roughly about 20,000 members. We hope to load our Thrive shopping site in the next couple of weeks, where we have a couple of thousand merchants waiting to come on board. And everything about Thrive is, like I keep saying, is embracing technology.
Yes.
We're not scared of technology.
Yeah.
We're embracing it. And, I think at the end of the day, I truly believe is that the third aspect to it, in which you've been very instrumental in the Thrive Talk, is to educate people.
Yeah.
And the ability to be able to educate people on matters like Bitcoin.
Yeah, because everything is here. It's coming. The stuff that's not here yet is coming.
That's right.
It's already on the way, and people need to realize that. And if they don't realize that, they're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when cell phones came out, people were anti-cell phones, but
That's right.
everybody these days have got cell phones.
Yeah.
Some people have got more than one device, and that's just because over time people don't have a choice because technology is moving on.
That's right.
There's better ways of doing stuff, and why not use the technology to change your financial future?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday, and the gentleman there, he's a very successful investor. He's invested in Facebook and Uber and all of this, and he says, when it comes to blockchain, when it comes to money, people get angry. Angry because it's something that is very personal. But what's starting to happen now with the likes of, Bitcoin, if you bought $1 worth of Bitcoin in 2009, it would be worth $25 million today. So you can get it as angry as you want.
Yeah.
But it's here.
Yes.
And what's happened is that the people have voted really is because blockchain is all about open source.
Yes.
Even though it's got the ability to, it's not controlled through the traditional ways of how government regulations work in banking. But it's got to a point when I got personally involved in Bitcoin. One Bitcoin was worth about $200. I mean now it's close to $2,500. So we understand that a lot of what we're talking about with regards to whether it's blockchain, people need to be educated. If it's Bitcoin, people need to be educated online. Online selling, online marketing. We've got a fantastic program that's coming out. So Thrive is a platform.
Yes.
To be able to encourage entrepreneurs to develop their own businesses
and skills that they don't have now.
Exactly that, yeah. So it's a platform to educate yourself. Number one. Number two, it's a platform to earn some extra money. Okay. And the third part is its ability to be able to buy a product online. And we just basically say is that we had to stay. We've been around for 9 months. We have some fantastic mentors and leaders such as yourself. I think we've grown to how many countries in the last 9 months?
19 now.
19 countries in the last 9 months, and we're pretty much exploding all over the world. And we very much encourage the people out there to embrace what we're doing.
Yes.
Because we believe that we're on the right track. We're not going to get it perfect.
Yeah.
We've definitely had our challenges, and I'm going to throw it out there is that we're no different to you and me and everything, but we're trying. And the alternative to it is, do we look at the old economy where you need to save 30% of your income and kind of get to the end of your life and not being able to doing everything right? I looked at my father and I looked at my grandfather, and I say they've done everything right.
Yeah.
Yet they still can't retire.
Yes.
To the same standard as what they were when they were working. Or do you do something different?
Yeah.
Is that you can even keep your existing career.
Yes.
And just be open-minded to try something different.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Whether it's Thrive or whether it's something else as well, I encourage you to read the book of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And just open up your mindset to something different. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, James, for joining us today and sharing your vision on Thrive and where it comes from. And we're looking forward to the next episode. So thanks, everybody, for joining us again today. Remember that we'll have a success story in Thrive again straight after this episode. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Hi guys, Alex from Melbourne, Australia. My journey with Thrive has been an amazing ride. I was homeless for 5 years with my 5 children. I got a house and I decided that I wanted to work online. I had some ups and downs and I had some successes as well. I joined Thrive in February of this year and really didn't do anything with it. I didn't take any notice of it. I was busy building my traditional MLM, and it wasn't until I realized how much time I was spending for very little money with the previous company that I actually took notice of Thrive. I went into my back office. I had money there. I had a downline. I was just amazed. I sat there stunned and thought to myself, if I actually had to work this, imagine where I'd be now. That was the 26th of April, and we are now on the 30th of June, and I've earned $15,000 in that time. That has been life-changing. That gives my family options, and options are a wonderful thing when you've lived without any options for so long. And it's options are life-changing. It's also given me time and freedom to spend with my children. I have a disabled son, and I've been able to put the time and effort into him. And during that time, I actually took 3 weeks off to deal with some issues my family were having at the time, and I still made that amount of money in that time. Guys, what we have here with Thrive International is just life-changing. I urge you to get in touch with whoever has shown you this video and get back in touch with them and run with it, because I'm so glad I did. It's changed my life and my family situation forever.